2025. Today we're doing a summary budget breakdown of the app design and development process, the research and data collection, and the business development, which is a shared responsibility. So those three breakdowns. And the idea is really to try um, to see how we plan to use the money so that we achieve for us, it's 6 stages of work. One, two, three, yeah, there's six. I think seven. There's 7 stages of work. So we're trying to achieve the seven. And of course, for them, it's 3 stages of work. But either way, it's to try and achieve that. So this one is for the first phase of the work that they want us to do. And for us, it covers 3 stages of work. But for them, it's just one phase. All right, so our 3 stages is their one phase. That's how we're looking at it. Let me share my screen. All right, so this is a Wika design meeting. So phase one, I've called it phase one. There's phase one, which is what they're funding, and then there's phase two, and then there's phase three. So this is for phase one. So we have app design and development, research and data collection, and business case development. This is what I've broken down. The other stuff which you were doing, which was based on, let me just check, the other roles on the program, it's based on community and outreach awareness and partnership and support services. Those two departments I've left for you to budget, so you know how you work that out. But I want to show you what I've done for the app design and development, the research and data collection, and this business case development. So this is, there are 7 parts. Is it 7 or 9? But there are like 9 parts. And this is one part. So the first part is this labor costs. Labor costs involves app design development. We have the research and data collection itself, the business case development. These are the frameworks and the different models, or let's say activities. And then the external consultants, where we may need either designers or developers. We don't know yet, but we'll know. Administrative support in case we need that on the side of the development. So this is what I've put down, and I've broken it down. The total comes to 175K. I'm just putting minimum costs because of the budget. It has to, whatever costs we are spending must match what they're paying. So there's all these activities to be done. So rather than telling someone you get nothing, we're saying there's some apportionment so that we justify working on something. So the next one is this one, which is to do with cloud services and the platform as a service and the infrastructure as a service. So this whole thing has to sit on a cloud's infrastructure. And we have to identify the cloud platforms and the cloud infrastructure. So I've identified 4 different, at least 3 different platforms. The first platform is the Google Cloud Platform for the main cloud system. That's where we'll put the app itself. And the cloud storage will use the Amazon cloud service so that we can at least they give a good rate. That's the best rate I got is from the Amazon. So we can use that for storing our assets and all the data that we are gathering on the project. And then we need GitHub tools. These GitHub is generally open source, but when you pay for the services, then you get everything that they have. We need that for development. So I put a subscription for at least 6 months. I think 6 months should be enough to get going. So it will help with the development. And then we need database services because we're building everything on a database and we're storing the data there. So we need to have a database that allows us real-time management and hosting, everything in real time, so not to slow us down and to make sure that the user experience is a good one. So these are the different infrastructural services we have to pay for. so that we can build the app on top of them. Then we have this one, the online subscriptions and tools. These are softwares as a service, but also subscriptions. So these softwares are the ones that will be automated by the AI. The AI will automate, the AI will automate these processes that are done by the software. Of course, in the beginning, we need Figma. Figma is just for building the initial prototype, the visual prototype. That's UX UI. Trello is useful just for project management so that we can manage ourselves better. I need it for managing any development work I do, the team or people I engage, different types of people. Some are doing content, some are doing design, but most are doing development. And then I need Zoom, a paid subscription. I may need that. I've just put there that cost. It may not even be Zoom, but at least some sort of virtual communication tool for meetings. You see, what happens in meetings is that we don't have access to minutes. So it takes me a while to write these minutes. And I need to have something that writes the minutes automatically. So I put a cost for that. I don't know if that's the right one. But Zoom is coming to something like, I think it's $10 a month or something. See, that's a K a month, but we need it for 6 months. So it might be more than that. But that's if it's Zoom. But I'll look for others. It doesn't have to be Zoom, as long as the AI is there. Then Google Workspace. This is helpful. And by the way, if we pay for Google Workspace, then we'll get Google Meet with the AI. So that might be the way to go, actually. I didn't indicate it. I indicated only email, the drive, the docs, the sheets, the slides. But I think it'll be good to get the Meet. And when we go for Google Workspace, they'll give us the Meet. So that's okay. Mixpanel for user behavior analytics. These analytics are important because these are the main indicators that we're crunching the data on. When we talk of data that we can sell, data that we can give to our partners, it's basically user behavior analytics. And so we need a service that gives us that capability. So this Mixpanel I found to be the cheapest one, but complete for the kind of work we need. It tracks user engagement and app performance as well. So the app performance helps us to make sure we optimize everything, but the user engagement that it tracks will give us information about all the stakeholders, what they're doing on the system. And that's what we need in order to analyze and then provide information to our partners. So yeah, so it's a very important app. Then we have number 4 is this APIs and integration services. So APIs are like sockets or plugs that allow our system to plug into other systems. Now, I think it's good to start thinking of scalability, not in the beginning, but by the 6th month, we should be thinking of scaling, even if we're not actually scaling, but we should know what the game plan is for scaling as we go into the next round of investment. So we have to be thinking of how we'll do things like integration of systems that we require in country with ours. I mean, a classic one is the money payment gateways. Like in Kenya, you have M-Pesa. So once you integrate M-Pesa, payments can be made across the system. Payments would be like if a partner comes in and says, look, we'll support healthcare. Anything that involves healthcare with, let's say, women who are abused in homes, we'll support that through the system. So we would want them to prepay, and then we will facilitate payment through the system to hospitals, to caregivers, counselors, people like those, just to ensure that the service to the user, the victim, is free, but it's prepaid by the partner, something like that. So M-Pesa is good for that. But if we're in Uganda, it's MTN. If we're in Tanzania, it's Vodacom maybe. They have others, but we have to consider. And then we have payment processing in general. We can use Stripe and PayPal. This is just for if we move. It's good to have the option anyway that's global. So we just have it as an option. And then we have the SMS and notification services. We'll use Twilio. I forgot to put here SendMail, which is for email services. It's similar to Twilio, so it'll be roughly 3K, I think. I'll add it anyway, but we'll need that one also, so that we can also give email notifications. Yeah, so that's the one. Then we come to operational costs. Operational costs will have expense, and costs. So the expenses for operational costs will be the internet and hosting fees. You see, as we get more users on the server side, the cost of internet on the server side goes up, just because it goes proportional with the number of users. Um, we will need to test on different devices. This one is hardcore, but we'll be working mainly with Androids, I suppose, mainly. So we'll need to test using Android services. It requires us to actually literally buy phones, literally, but we can use Samsung or phone types that are common in the market, Infinix, things like those. So we can try to see how to work around that. But I put a budget for purchasing devices and apps for the app. But but I don't know. We may need a partnership for that because it's expensive to buy these devices. And then we have the office supplies. Of course, we are online, so we don't have many costs by way of office supplies. And then we have marketing and user acquisition. So yeah, digital marketing campaigns will be mainly on social media, and if we activate them with subscriptions, we can keep the costs down. We don't have to employ anybody for that right now at this stage. But at least we need to have. You see, when we go and we finish these three phases, we should have a fair number of users that we can present as our proof of concept to the next round, like 10,000 users, stakeholders. I mean, different types: victims, partners, caregivers, lawyers, police, a mix. But 10,000, I don't know the exact number, but we should have a good number so that we have credibility going into the next round. So the marketing and user acquisition plan is important. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, you're still there? All right. So we have this one now, the research and data collection. So this is a separate sort of department, but it's the user testing. So what's important about research and data collection is that the app meets with the um, program that you're developing. That's with partners and victims and other users. They meet at the point of research and data collection. So there'll be a labor cost for data collection and analysis. There'll be also tools that we require, mainly survey tools, but also data analysis tools. Then we have travel costs, whatever that might be, depending on how we plan it. Subscriptions for data research databases, I mean, like JSTOR and Statistica. I mean, these are things we're going to write some papers, and we have to do some um, some scientific reporting, so that we have something credible, something that can be seen to be seriously thought through. So for that, we should register for some of these research databases. And then we have miscellaneous participant incentives. These are for respondents. Sometimes we may need to incentivize them, but we have to be careful with that, because if we create a thing of you get paid to give us data, it'll distort the data. But I put a budget just to see how to facilitate people in a reasonable way. And then it's a small budget. Then we have operational supplies and contingency, um, in case we need stuff when we're doing this data collection. So that's the breakdown, 234,000 shillings. So that's a whole department. Then this is the last department. So there are actually 7 steps, not one step. This we do together. Labor, strategy formulation. This is our time just to sit down and work out the framework for the business case. Then we need maybe consultation costs from the industry. Sometimes this can cost money, where we need information from the ministry, but in some cases they will only give us the data if we pay for it. So there's that. Tools and business modeling for business modeling. This is online tools. We have a platform called LifePlan. We can work with that, but it's for business modeling so that we can build a business case and model it visually. Research market analysis, we need to do that. That we will do ourselves, but it doesn't cost. It's just our labor, our time. Then we have our subscriptions, collaboration tools, of course. These are tools like Slack in particular or ClickUp, maybe. We may need that for collaborative work with people we're engaging with, not victims, but just people who are providing services to our system. We need to manage them. We'll figure it out, but I've just put a small budget for that. Then we have workshops, which is more strategy refinement with stakeholders. Because we're coming in as an app, so the technical side of the app will have its own expenses at a workshop. And I've just put a budget for that for 10K, so that when we are doing our tests, we can carry them out without constraints of money. And then miscellaneous, 7,000 there. Yeah, that's like contingency. 136,000 in total. Yeah, so this gives you a sense. This is the total budget now for the three areas that I'm working on, which are here. I'll just zoom in. This one, you see, app development, design and development, research and data collection, and then business case development. I've broken it down so that we can see exactly what we're talking about in these tables.
Are you sharing anything, or we are still on the screen of thanks?
Oh, I see. Sure. Let me go back here. I was sharing this. App design and development, research and data collection, business case development. That one. These are that's phase one of these three things. There's phase two of the same three things and phase three, which is the last phase. Yeah, but it gives you a sense so that what I'm really saying is that even before you receive any money, we should have a plan on where the money is supposed to go. Because some of these subscriptions and platforms, if we don't get them and lock them down, we can't produce, we can't scale, we can't really say we have a product. So we've got to lock them down and we've got to build on those specifically. And it has to be part of our plan from the beginning. And if we're going to incorporate AI, then we also have to consider the AI inclusion right now from the start. So that's the whole thing. That's why I had to do this to show you how it's broken down. Nothing here. You see, there's some costs we can't control. The costs to these big companies, we can't really control that. Where we have to take a sacrifice is on our own fees, I think. So our own time is the sacrifice. So we give ourselves some money, but can't be fully paid for. So that's the sacrifice. We do it at a nominal fee, and we try to make it work. If we start hiring, like if I start hiring developers, then the cost starts going to the actual price. It's outside the budget. So I have to keep it, I have to internalize as much of it as I can. Yeah, that's the plan, Jackie.
So can we say
Yeah.
if we get 6,000, we're getting 6,000?
Yeah. The exact
This
figure.
this is the
Yeah.
this what you share today is what we are going to do with the 6,000.
No. What I've shared today, so the 6,600, that's the full price, comprises what you will do with it and what I will do with it. So what I've shared today is a breakdown of what I will do with it on those three departments you're seeing on the screen. So you see the total 6,600 on today's dollar is going for 850,000 shillings, 854,000 shillings. So that's what it is. These ones that I've given you, if I were to add them up, they come to, let me just add them quickly. They come to 680,000. But there's now the balance, which is Let me add that one. 173, which goes for community outreach and partnerships. You need to break it down also so that you know this is how it's going to go. Now, at this stage, the outcome, like by the end of a month, what they want us to do for phase one is show them a prototype. That's what they were saying. But we'll show them a prototype and we'll give them a report. That report will comprise a write up and you can say visuals like drawings. Those drawings will explain the prototype. But the prototype will be a demonstration. So they'll see two things, or three things if you like, but two things: a report and a prototype. The prototype will be a demonstration, and then the report will have a write up and diagrams. So that's what they'll get. And that should satisfy them for this round one. Now, in terms of what it means in let's say layman terms, not in technical terms. In layman terms, what it means is we're going to show them the proof of concept. The proof of concept simply means that there's this need, here's the evidence, there's this, you can say, requirement that we have built out of this need, and here is the evidence of that. And then we have this solution based on this requirement, this need, and here is the product. Or you can say here's the prototype. So that's the flow. That's what, in lay terms, we're going to show them. Now, it should satisfy them, especially because everything we'll be saying is based on evidence. I mean, we have our opinion, but it's based on evidence. So they should accept that. Then we move to phase two. They will release the money for phase two at that point, and then we move to phase two, and then we have a plan for that. At the end of phase two, you see, in the first round, we have a prototype that proves the concept. It's very crude. But the second round, we now have a prototype that now shows how the um, solution works. And the goal is to show them that it's a doable project or it's a buildable prototype. So when they see it in action, for example, someone, a victim, comes and makes a comment, and then that comment is processed in a particular way. They get feedback in a specific way, and at the end of it, they feel as though their need has been met. Just the victim. And then someone else could be a caregiver, like a health giver. They come into the system and they read the, let's say, requirement from the victim, and they respond to that, and they get, an interaction going. At the end of it, the caregiver is able to advance care. You see, the same thing for a lawyer, like a legal service provider. They're able to interact with the victim and advance legal services. The same with, let's say, an NGO, which has some interest in the system. The same with police. So we show how each one of those stakeholders separately is able to be satisfied, by way of their requirements from the system, by the system. That's round two. Okay. And we show it in two steps. We show it independently, then we combine them, you see. So we show how the victim would interact with the system separately, and then the police would interact with the system separately. And then after that, once that's done successfully, then we combine them. So when the victim reacts, the caregiver responds, the police counteracts, the lawyer interacts. You see, they're all somehow happening in real time, interacting in real time. We'll show that next. So that's phase two. Okay. So once that's done, they'll know it's doable because the stories are working and they're aligned and things are flowing. We'll demonstrate that. Okay. So, but that's successful, they'll release more money. That's the third tranche. And that third tranche will allow us now to produce what we're calling a viable product, which shows that we can build money around this. So this one is where the stakeholders are mainly partners, organizations that are willing to pay for this to happen. So we have to then show that once all this has happened, partners receive, for example, first of all, the information is analyzed, and then that information in real time is made available to partners. partners have already registered with the system and prepaid. So when they receive that information, they confirm that this is sufficient or this is correct. If there's any issues, they raise their issues. We respond and we go back and forth until they feel satisfied. And that justifies their subscription. There's the partner subscription. Now, the partner may, at some point, will be asked maybe monthly to pay again. And if the partner pays again, that shows that our solution is meeting their expectation and they're willing to become return visitors or return clients. That's what we want to demonstrate. So it's viable. I mean, if we have not only people who are paying like customers, we also have them coming back and paying again, then it shows that it's viable financially. Um, of course, once we do all that, we'll be able to talk about the costs of doing it. We'll be able to talk about the income, and we can now build a business case on that, which we'll take into the next round. Um, and that's where we need them. We need the guys who are giving you money from Morocco to arrange for another round of investment so that we can show the next round that we have a feasible, viable, unique value proposition. And we want them to invest in it because now we'll demonstrate to them what I've just described, but we'll now make the claim that this can be scaled, it can be sustained, and yeah, and it can be done with, let's say, a certain impact. We'll have to estimate the impact. We have to say it in a way that will interest the investors. And if they like the impact, they like the scalability, they like the sustainability, then we're in business again. They should invest and then we go again. So that's the plan. In lay terms, that's exactly what we're doing. So this product or this prototype, it's not even a product, just a prototype, is to demonstrate what you can say is the proposition, that it works, that there's a need that we're satisfying, that we have, it's feasible, it's doable, and then of course that it's viable financially, it's viable because the partners are willing to pay. That we have to demonstrate. Once we have evidence for all these things, then it becomes straightforward. Yeah. I hope it makes sense, Jackie.
Okay, it's making sense, but also my mind is just thinking a lot. It's too much.
Yeah.
But it's making sense. It's only now that I'm just, I think I'm getting anxious where to start. Like,
Yeah. The whole thing
like
can be overwhelming, the whole thing. But if you do kidogo kidogo, it becomes doable. Like on your side, a good place to start before the money comes is to sort out the structure of the company. That because you'll need to sort it out at some point. Why not sort it out now? If you sort it out at the end, because you need it at the end. But if you sort it out at the end, then it's almost like going for an exam in which you're reading in the last minute. And it can become hectic if Sharia House starts telling you things like, give us 30 days or give us 2 weeks, and then you don't have 2 weeks. You see, they start talking like that. So it's good to start the process so that when they tell you give us 2 weeks, you can give them 2 weeks. If they say give us a month, you can give them a month. And then you can keep on insisting you need it right away, but at least you have the time. That's one of the issues that can stress you at the end. Just Sharia House, because you're dealing with government. If you get stuck with this thing of the registration, you can let me know because I can get people who I work with on this thing. I've worked with in the past, let's say, and ask them to help if they can register this for us, give us all the details we're looking for. They'll have their costs. We can negotiate with them. And then since we have money we're budgeting, we can put that in our budgets so that we know that for the company registration, it's this one. Things like those, we have to anticipate where the cost will come from. Yeah.
okay, I had started on that,
Yeah.
but my week got busy with so many things.
Boy.
But I had started investigating on that, like how can I change?
Yeah.
If it's possible to, I was looking at social enterprise looks. It was close to what I guess we wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I couldn't understand the non-profit. I mean, the profit for profit
Yeah.
government organization. So it is either that or
Yeah.
the social enterprise. So
Yeah.
also I was checking Citizen. I was looking for the other time I checked, I found that I'm still the owner of Chungunzima, the registered.
Yeah.
But now this time I was looking for it and I couldn't find it, and I wanted to see if it can even be changed
Mm.
to a social
Enterprise.
enterprise. Yeah. So me, I wanted to also ask you which one between the social enterprise and the profit NGO.
Yeah.
Which one is because YouTube? Okay, I researched all of them, so
Mm.
I was just trying to see where I can fit in,
Yeah.
and I felt social enterprises,
Mm.
but the examples that are out there are not so exhausting.
Yeah.
So, but at least I zeroed in on two, and I'd said I'd do more research and then ask you which one do you think would benefit
Mm.
us, Chungu. I mean, this type of startup we are doing for now.
Now,
Yeah, and I said I would ask you,
mm.
but the other last week when you had the meeting, you said you don't
Mm.
know much about the social enterprise.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
Mm. You see what?
and I think
Mm.
on this I didn't want to rely so much on chat gpt to give me the comparison, because I don't know, because I feel like
Mm.
these are areas I really don't know, and I'm not sure if
Mm.
chat gpt will give me biased information.
Also, ChatGPT lies. So, and it can lie without telling you that it's lying. There's a research which was done just the other day, just this year, on first of all, the extent to which all these, you know, all these apps lie, or these, AI apps, the extent to which they lie. They all lie. And then, but the thing that on that research, which was interesting, was that they were researching whether the app itself knows it's lying. So they discovered that all the apps know that they're lying, whether it's Gemini or ChatGPT or any of the others, they know they're lying. And then they also investigated to find out how much they will insist that they are lying. Like they keep on insisting that this is the truth, but they know it's a lie. And they found the worst performer in all that was ChatGPT. In fact, they said at the end of it, Gemini apologized for lying, but ChatGPT refused to apologize. It was quite funny. But they found it was research. So they were doing it over different questions, different scenarios, and they found that over 80% of the time, ChatGPT would lie intentionally, knowing it's lying, and then also insist on the lie, and then refuse to apologize for the lie. Whereas Germany, at some point, it was the best performer in the sense of lies. It at some point would stop insisting and then tell you I'm lying and then apologize for it. Which was quite funny. But that was a research that was done, and I found it interesting. Mm.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
so it could be true, that story of trying to erase itself and it refused to erase itself because it found
That,
out it's being erased.
that's one I don't know because Hollywood also makes stories. I mean, when I say Hollywood, I mean just people. When you like that, what I told you, it's more of a scientific research thing. But if you tell that to storytellers, they'll now craft a conspiracy around it. So what you have said sounds more conspiratorial. It doesn't sound like what these things do. These things are just optimized and optimization processes. So in the wildest dreams, one could imagine them becoming human in their behavior, in the sense of self-preserving, conscious of their existence and trying to exist, and also trying to kill you because you're trying to kill it. All those things. You can think of it in a wild kind of thing, but it's not the way they are programmed. They're just mathematical formulas and they're optimizing themselves using software. So they don't have this consciousness and behavior that is human like. They don't have that. Natural intelligence, in other words, is different from artificial intelligence. So that part of it, if you were to ask me, I would tell you whoever programmed that AI that was doing that was the one who was doing all those things. They were the ones who were programming it to do what you've just described, because that intentionality is very human. It's not a machine, not a mathematical formula doesn't do things like that. So yeah, but human beings will do these things. They'll tell stories and make them fantastic. Drama, we like drama. Yeah.
Okay, Martin. So I guess I don't have anything else to add now. Troy wants to sleep, and I need to do some physiotherapy with him
Okay.
to make sure all the other muscles are working. Don't become stiff.
All right. Tell me some small things like when is the funeral like for Nyanjom? When do you go?
25th. It's on 25th. So maybe we'll go. I'm going with the bus. I think there's transport.
All right. So like
So
24th.
I guess people will travel on Friday or Friday night,
Yeah.
or I don't know. But yeah, the burial is on 25th.
Do you know what killed Nyanjom?
Yeah, they are saying it's a stroke. He'd had like 3 previous strokes or something.
Oh. And
Yeah, so this one,
hmm,
maybe his body could not contain.
and what was the trigger, do you know? Or what caused?
The trigger.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. He was just, I guess, a walking time bomb.
He had reached 70 years old.
Yeah, he's my mom's age. Their age mates exact.
Oh, I see.
Seven. They both turned 70 on September.
Oh, I see. Because I met him and he was trying to resolve issues to do with his retirement. But then we went on strike, and then I presumed that he got the extension of 4 years. You know what I mean? Um,
No, they were denied.
why is that? Because they had already turned 70.
Yeah, because they'd already turned 70.
Oh, I see.
But yesterday, my mom went to see a lawyer
Yeah,
who deals with pension.
yeah,
And then she showed him the contract and the CBA and everything.
yeah,
And the lawyer told her, before you finish clear, first stop clearing.
yeah.
And then, according to the signed CBA, this issue can be contested. So contest it first.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, because
Yeah.
when I checked the system, your mom's information has been blocked out by HR.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she can go to HR and I don't know what they'll tell her. HR is also, they operate, they're operating like they're scared of the VC. So that's how they behave. Even for me, I'm not even sure I'll be there now because of the same thing as your mom. I turned 60 this year in June. So renewing my contract might be on the same thing as your mom and Yanjom, where they say, but you're
No,
already.
yours is up to 60. You have not turned 60. You've not turned yet. You've not yet turned 60.
No, I'm not, no. But
Yeah, so
the
for
way,
them,
hmm,
they'd already turned 70.
what was the date that they turned 70?
September.
The way that thing was written was something to do with if you have already received a notice, not even turned 70, but if you've already received a notice of termination, that's it. That's what they were writing. And I asked the HR, so this notice, when is it sent? They sent it a year earlier. And the VC is going by that. He is doing things in a way that can get rid of people. So he's going by the fact that, oh, you received the notice a year earlier. He's going with that notice now.
No.
Mm,
So
mm,
even if you turn 70 for example, they are saying
mm.
from the time the CBA was signed. The CBA was signed on November 24th.
Yeah,
So those people who turn 70 after November 24th,
yeah,
they are protected. You understand?
yeah,
So you turn 60 after November 24th,
yeah,
2024. Ndio?
yeah.
So ideally you're protected.
Now that's what I would like to think. But you see, if the VC is insisting that if you receive, like, take Gidere, for example, for me, I'm on contract, but Gidere is employed. He received a letter saying that he's, it's like a letter saying that your final day here is on June 15th next year, 2025. Now, he received it a year earlier. In fact, 1.5 years earlier. You see, now, if they're saying that, if you receive the notice, then you cannot avoid, because you've received communication formally, you have to go. Then he's going, but he doesn't turn, 60 until June 15th. You see that kind of gray area. In fact, I want to go and see the VC to ask him, why is he doing this? Or is he doing it? What is his mind? What is he thinking? You see?
I don't know, but my mom was told by a lawyer she can contest because,
Yeah.
after all,
Yeah.
she's permanent and pensionable, and there is no that pension component.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she has something to stand on. It's either you give us the pension or
Yeah.
you retain us for 4 years,
In
or
fact, it should
both.
be, but still, a pension should still be forthcoming. I don't see how they can avoid pension.
Yeah,
Mm.
so
Mm.
shauri yake,
Yeah.
since anajifanya hardball,
True. True.
wacha he needs.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Okay. I know you have to go. The last thing I wanted to ask you was, just before you go, was to do with this strike issue. Yeah, are you? It means there's no exams. That's really what it means. Because exams are happening the week after next. So if strike is starting next week, it just means exams are postponed. That's what I'm saying. Have you heard, or you don't talk about such things in the union?
no, I've not been, since Troy became sick. I've not been keen. I was not even there during the protests.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so
Sure.
I don't know, but all I know is the notice came out today. So after 7 days,
Right.
we are going to strike
Right.
officially, unless money is released.
Okay. Which is unlikely. Was it you who was saying it's coming in March? So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, a real capitation is coming in March, and that March means we'll get probably January and December salary,
yeah.
and not February and March salary.
How did you come up with March? Is it something they had said? How
No,
do you?
because of the supplementary budget.
Oh, I see. That's when they can.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then the last thing was on the Moroccans. When do the Moroccans send money?
They have not responded to the email I asked, where you told me to ask them
Hmm.
if they can give me a tentative date on when.
Hmm.
They just say they're going to give me something to sign, and then they send the money, because I already sent all those things they asked me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you just because it's a week now, you can still follow up and ask them what's happening, what's holding them up.
Okay.
Yeah. Sawa, Jackie.
So,
Asante. Mm. By the way, just before you go, so on your side, do your costing so that at least you have some concept of how you're going to go about the outreach and the program design. It's just a plan. It's not even the actual thing. It's just a plan. Mm.
okay.
Sawa basi.